Hello everyone, welcome to Lab 3, Selenium driver and HTTP requests. This time we're going to crawl two websites, Zillow and Glassdoor. So we'll use HTTP request to crawl Zillow data and use Selenium driver to crawl Glassdoor data. This time our lab will be a little bit more intense than the last previous one. So we're going to use our knowledge from Beautiful Soup and API and apply it to our HTTP request. Um, so HTTP request is designed to enable action between client and servers. So it uses a simple API to interact with to request and push data to the server. Um, the simple way of doing the code is to use a request package and uh, the most frequent function you use is request.get URL. So you'll go to a URL and get a response. And the response includes several part of it. So the first part is that successful? The status code will indicate that if it's 200, it indicates that the request was successful. If the 404 status means that you need the resource you're looking for is not found. So for not found and 200 means that it's successful. If it went successful, you can just call for the content of this response, and you'll get information. You can start to process information, and let's get started. So we're we're going to import all the packages, and we need to identify headers for your request. It's important to know that headers will not change the way you get the request, but it's the mark that you leave to the server to indicate that what kind of device you have, what kind of web browser you have. So if you need to change header to other website, you just need to change origin, and usually you don't need to change anything else. So this is a header that is so the request is much more robust library than the URL IB request that we talked about last time. And we run this part of code. And then what we need to do is we are going to crop data from the Zillow. I'm going to show you the website, how it looks like. As you see, this time we're going to crawl data for the New York City housing. And they are the price, they're not for rentals. And some of them will indicate what the size is, how many bedroom and bathroom, and where is location. So also we have the days on Zillow too, of all kind of this information. And this time we're going to have two parameters for you to change. So do you want to rental or not? Do you want how many number of listing do you want for this request? So for the presentation purpose, I'm only choose 20. And as you can see that I'm going to create empty list. And then we're going to add more information. So every time we're going to append address, a price, a list by, and so all this information, we're going to append information for every page or every item we go through over here. And we're going to get today's date to put on the data frame to indicate that where the data come from. And that will be useful for the future visualization. So this is quite similar from last time. we're going to get a response, and we're going to use Beautiful Soup to identify the response in the HTML form. So we can use find and find out to do the web to do the information extraction. And some of you ask about how do we need to understand these. So we have a URL, but there are alternative URLs that you need to use when the rental become false. So each time we're going to um, have the counter to fill in this part. But if it's rental, it will go to the first set of URL. If it's not rental, it go to second set of URL. This is how we make this. We make our case more robust for you to change the parameters. So if you only want rental equals false, you can simply delete this part and delete that part. So let's continue. So we want 20 listings, and we start with 0. So and we get all the web link, and we get into each page, and we're going to get the information for each page. And there's something I want to show you about try and accept. Let me run this first. And there are also something I want to show you about JSON file. So don't worry about this. I will explain it. So as you can see, that most of the information we get from the find and find all. So we clean this up by using dot text. We find all this information use HTML text. Have we finished crawling? Yes. So let's see our result first. So we have lists, all of them as lists. We create empty lists. We fill them with sometimes NA, sometimes the real information we want, and we make them into a data frame. As you can see, there are 20 in total, and some of them are not applicable. We didn't find data for that specific one. Let me show you how we use the try and extend. So as you can see, some of the times, I think every 10 times it runs the request, it has an error. And every time it has an error that didn't find a address in the data, we are going to go through this part. When the exception happens, you go through the second part of the try and accept, and you're going to append not applicable over here. And it's kind of a simple process when you start to make that decision. So for example, when usually when we write code, right? We delete this part, we write one line of this saying that I want to append that. And I think it will turn an error because the tags don't have the information or address. So let's look at the address. The address, let me show you how the data looks like. So it's true that the data don't have address. It has all other information, but don't have address. And what we need to do is we go over here to say you don't need to if it has an error, you don't need to finish it all. So you just need to go to the second part. Usually I just type the error name and street address append not applicable. And we are going to avoid this error. So I won't run this for this time since we already successfully did. And I want to show you that um, you see the data is right now is a dictionary, and it was a JSON file before. So when we go back to data, we have a JSON. Since we find that in the link in the beautiful soup type, we're going to find a JSON type in the script, and we extract that, and then we get all the information, we clean them up. Also, we load them into what we can see right now. So it make it easy for us um, to identify the information. So as you can see here, um, all these all these information are made in pairs. When I say this, is that I have a key, an item, so that it's a dictionary. There's another key, there's another item. So every time you want item, you just call for their key, which makes that name is not your information that you want, since every data has a name. But you want the specific name of it, right? So what you need to do is call the name, and you get the name of it. And what else you need to do? So these are not as complicated as other. I will show you some more complicated one. I run the whole code. So this information, you can acquire this information by call for their key names. And I think we can find the other informations like here. This is another example. We have a data for like the type is single family residence, and you see that right now this is an item, but after I call the key, I get a new uh, a new dictionary, right? So what if I want a specific address here or geo information here, right? Um, Let me give you an example. I want the postal code. So first of all, I find these what I want, and I'm going to address. And we're going to get the postal code. Since this is another dictionary, right? We're going to call for another dictionary. Postal code. And then we get a postal code of this page. So that's how we get all this information here. So address, postal code, address region. So these are not complicated, but it takes some time for you to find where they are, or takes some time for you to see the pattern. And that's all for this part. We are using HTTP request, and I think the limitation is that first of all, it's very fast, quick, and most of the time accurate. But sometimes you'll get blocked because your cookie or the headers is not there. And but for the most of the time, you can find clean information here. You just need a little bit of cleaning for in our case, right? Maybe you just need to delete the row, but you have very strong, very structured database ready for you. And then in the end, we have 20 rows, we have several columns that we need, and we're going to save save it to CSV so we can do furthermore um, analysis like Tableau or Excel. That's for this part.
Hey everyone, this is Yiqi. I'm gonna give you the tutorial for our Selenium lab. The reason that we want to use Selenium is sometimes we don't know how to flip the page. We have to interact with the browsers, and the Selenium can program the computer to click anything on the browser by itself. And in order to use Selenium, first of all, you have to install the Chrome drive. It's this drive right here, the Chrome drive. So you check your Chrome's version by clicking the help button, and you know that this is your version, and you search on Chrome drive and download the version. So I'm the 96 version. I'll just download this one since I'm using a Mac and it's a M1 chip. So I'm gonna download this one. If you're not using the Mac with M1 chip, just download this. And if you're using Windows, just download this. Once you download it, uninstall it, unzip it, and you will have this file. Remember to put in the same path of your notebook. It'll be easier for you to run the Chrome drive. The reason that you have to put in the same notebook is that when we run the drive, that it will open a browser by itself. And in order to make it work, we have to specify the path, let the computer know where the driver is. And it's easier if you put it in the same directory so that you can just change it. Because right now the directory is on Ricardo's computer. And if you put in the same directory of this notebook, you just open a new chunk right here use pwd, get your current directory, and just copy and paste it here. So make sure you leave the stash Chrome driver here and paste it here. That'll work. And let me go over the whole lab structure with you. So here, we're importing the packages. And here we're specifying two parameters. So first of all, you can choose which job list you want to crawl: data scientist, data analyst, software engineer, so on and so forth. And here's a number of job listings you want to crawl. Here is that we're creating empty list. So every time we go over one job list, it will append the data into each list. And in the end, we're going to merge all of them into a data frame. So let me go to the here. Here is that we're using the Chrome drive, and we're gonna set the window size and specify the URL that we want to open in our Chrome drive. Note that this is the keyword that we just specified. So it's data science, data scientist. Let me run this. Oh, sorry, I need to import the package. And here, it's opening a blank browser, and then it's going to open a URL. So the reason is that I'm opening those two chunks together. So first, this chunk is opening a blank browser. Here, this line is get this browser, open this link in this browser. So right now you're seeing the main page of our job search result using data science, or we're searching by data scientist. And here we're using the next we're using while loops to make sure that we're crawling the number of jobs we want. And next is the same thing. So the pages right here, we're getting the beautiful Zoop data using this beautiful Zoop package that you see in your Yelp app. And here I found where the job listing is at, and I'm gonna get the job link. And then the reason that I'm opening a new link in the driver is that in this page, I cannot get some of the information that I want. I have to go to the job, the page of each job. So let me show you what this does. Let me run my draft notebook again. This is how I prepare the lab. So here we specify the keyword, set up the URL, and we open. This is a blank one, a blank browser, and open the main page URL here. And then so this is a job link I found of each specific job. I'm gonna open it in the browser. So. And note that, you see, this job link is created by two parts. So this link actually doesn't work. And you have to go to the actual job link and find out what's the difference in them. So I found that you have to add a HTTP with glassdoor.com with this in order to open the job link. And let's go back. So here we open the specific job page, still using Beautiful Zoop, and get the company name, the job title, location, and salary estimate description. And here is that this page, this line is that how we interact with the browser. So go back. Actually, let me go to my draft. So I'll run the driver again. Let's say so for example, this page only has say 10 job listings, but if you want to crawl 100 of them, you will have to click to the next page in order to get the details. So what this line is doing is clicking this button so that you will go to the next page and get the details. Run this. See, it's going to a new page. And how this code does this? So here we specify the path of this. Give it some time to run. So here we're looking for the path where this data is at. You click inspect. Click inspect, and they find this HTML tag right here. So you see when you hover your mouse to this HTML tag, this sign actually lights. And when you open this, you see all these three texts make this light as 2. So we don't know which one works. You have to try, find its full XPath, say that starts from the very bottom. Get the full XPath, copy to the string right here. And this line is that, what this line is doing is that it finds where this element at in this path, and click it. So let me run this. Okay, it doesn't work. That means that this is not the correct XPath. And you try this one. Doesn't work as well. And you try the last one. Actually, there's another one. Try this one. Okay, you see that is flipping the page. And this is the correct XPath that we found. So also notice that you don't want to find the path for these buttons right here, because every time you have to change it. All you want is that you can click this button always in this path. You don't have to change the path, because every time you click this button, you go to the next page. And notice that when you hover your mouse to the HTML tag here, this is actually more than 3 text that make this button light. So this one that we tested, it works. And sometimes it might not work. So when it might not work, when it doesn't work, you can try the other passes. Just make sure that works. You go back to the notebook. This is your lab. And here, when we crawled everything and we have all the job listings that we want, here is that we're merging all the data that is in this list to a data frame. And that's all. Thank you for